Hello everybody, it's Anthony Couch, a guitarist on YouTube. Today we're talking about Slayer, although I know that's not how you pronounce the name. It's meant to be said like this. Slayer! But before we get on to talking about Slayer, we know that Slayer are one of the most evil sounding thrash metal bands out there. But I want to know, down there in the comments, who do you think is the most evil sounding band? Let me know down there. I want some evil bands, please. And the thing with Slayer, it's a bit of a ongoing affectionate joke in the world of heavy metal and rock guitar, is that they don't really use scales. It's organised chaos. What are they even playing, especially on those solos? And that's what today's all about. I listen to Slayer, I've seen Slayer loads of times, one of my favourite metal bands. I'd like to just have a look, explore some of the musical devices and techniques and concepts that they use. This video is split into two main sections. Number one, the riff section, and number two, the lead playing section. So stick around for the solo stuff. All the weird, crazy solo stuff is coming later. Slayer are known for creating some of the most evil and really creative heavy metal riffs, thrash metal riffs. What are they doing when they're creating these riffs? Well, have a quick listen to this Slayer rip-off riff that I created. And in that riff, you can hear, first and foremost, that I'm hanging on that low E string. That is just a... There's a word that I want to use, but I forgot what it is. Cliche, but a bit of a nicer way of saying cliche. What's the word? A trait. It's a trait of the genre to do a lot of... Just a lot of low E palm muting. But then up here I use this thing. This is a flattened fifth interval. If you don't know about flattened fifth interval and you're into thrash metal, then you've probably heard it loads of time without knowing what it was called. If we're in a major scale, in this case in E, just to briefly switch over to E major, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, we would be flattening that fifth to a B flat, and it creates an evil sound. So legend has it that that sound was banned in the medieval church for being too evil, and they called it the Diabolus in Musica, the devil in music, which I think is Latin, and Slayer went and even named an album after that very thing, the Diabolus in Musica. It's not my favourite Slayer album, but they've done one. If you just mess around with a flattened fifth in general, you get very, very evil metal sounds. But in that riff as well, I also use that thing that Slayer use all the time, where you go stepwise downwards in semitones. So if I got... Now we're getting really evil. And you don't even have to do that with that thing, you can do it with any section of a scale, any little fragment. So, just the first three notes of Locrian. I think that sounds like a Slayer riff, I don't know about you. And there was a part in that riff where I did something like... something along those lines, where this here, it sounds like I could be playing a Locrian mode, because I emphasise this F, and I also play the B flat, but then I'm putting an F sharp in, which isn't in the key. So suppose the bottom line here is, think of a scale, whatever scale you want, but just add in some tense notes. That's the key thing here to creating an evil sound, is tension. And the easy way to create tension is using semitones or chucking in notes that aren't in the scale. Don't overthink it, especially if you're doing all this stuff. Just chuck in any old thing. You do. There's that semitone trick. I didn't really care what key I was in, I just liked the way it sounded. Okay, that's the riff. That's a riff where you can sing over it. It can be an intro, it can just be a bit of a mosh moment for your thousands and thousands of fans. But when the time comes for that solo, you want to create that distinctively Kerry King, Jeff Hanneman sound, and Gary Holt as well, who's playing guitar from these days. Have a quick listen to this. I gave it a go. It's not my strength, really, this kind of playing, but I gave it a go. This is what I came up with. So I was trying my best there to sound a bit like Slayer. And the first thing that I'm hoping that you noticed is that I used this a lot. This old bar over here, the whammy bar, because we just want to create weird noises. So we're borrowing from the thing that we did with the riffs, where you can play any little fragment of a melody, as I did there, again with E Locrian. I like E Locrian because you get that semitone between E and F, but you don't get the Spanishness of Phrygian. And I went up and down that scale, and as soon as you wobble this around a little bit, and look what happened here, I just did the thing from earlier, went up a semitone, then up a semitone. Again with the wobbling of the whammy bar. Just creates really tense sounds over the riff. I followed it with this weird thing. Whatever it was I played. It's diminished. The diminished sound. Why did I stick that in there? Because it sounds evil. It's got the flattened fifth in there as a scale. I could have taken, but it gets a bit stretchy down there, too much for my fingers. Then there was this scale run. Locrian, just Locrian. It's got the flattened second in there, flattened sixth and flattened seventh, and a flattened fifth as well. All the flattened notes, which just work. Ended on the root note though. Always a good idea to do that. Just sounds like a strong full stop. And then some of this stuff. Such a simple little idea, but as soon as you add this thing in there, it makes it sound all evil and weird. I'm just going like this, but moving it up a fret each time. Again, that semitone tension thing. Doesn't sound evil yet. And then came this really crazy chromatic run I did at the end. You know, there is a stereotypical Slayer sound where you just go up in strict chromatic scales, and that's exactly what I was going for. And a lick like this. Or whatever it was I played. Playing all those side by side semitone notes. And went up and up and up. ended it, but I did something like that. Anyway, the main things to get out of this is create tension by thinking of a parent scale, of a scale that you're going to create music in, but then chuck in the occasional note that isn't in that scale, just for fun, just because it sounds evil. Number 2, semitones. Move up and down incrementally in semitones like this. With whatever lick or even riff stuff. It works. And then chromatics. Just think chromatically, side by side notes. I think all those ingredients together create a bit of a Slayer sound. What do you think? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments down there. And also let me know, who do you think is the most evil sounding band out there? I would like to know. Anyway, I've been Anthony Couch, and I'm going to play some inane thrash riffs while the things pop up at the side. I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.